Angela Torres was the nurse at the elementary school where her son, Daniel, attended, an 8-year-old boy with an infectious smile and a lively spirit. Every morning, Angela watched her son run around the schoolyard, greeting his friends and chasing his childhood dreams. But that day was not a day like any other. The weight of circumstances crushed her, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something irreversible was about to happen. Before continuing, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell. As she hurried through the school hallways, Angela's mind was already elsewhere, already in the courtroom where, in a few hours, she would face the divorce hearing from Roberto, her husband. Their marriage had nothing good left. The thought of dismantling the life she had built caused a lump in her throat. But what terrified her most was the battle for custody of Daniel. Arriving in the office of the principal, Emma Santoro, a stern but fair woman, Angela took a deep breath. Emma looked at her from behind her desk with some concern. "Angela, I know today will be a difficult day for you," she said in a sympathetic tone. "You need time off for the hearing, I assume?" Angela nodded, trying to keep her voice steady. "Yes, I have a hearing at 11, she replied, her voice cracking. The principal nodded in understanding. "Take all the time you need. Your family comes first," Emma said with a gentle smile. Angela nodded again, grateful for the understanding. But inside, she couldn't help but think about how fragile her work-life balance was, and how it was all quickly spiraling out of control. Leaving the principal's office, Angela hurried toward the school exit, her heart heavy. She had to get to court on time, but her thoughts were destroying her. As she crossed the schoolyard, she passed Carlo, the janitor. "Good morning, Angela," he greeted cheerfully, but she could barely respond. She felt time slipping away like sand between her fingers. Just as she was about to reach the bus stop, she saw a scene that stopped her in her tracks. A man, clearly in distress, collapsed to the ground. Her heart raced. Angela rushed toward him. He was an elderly gentleman, his body unkempt, his clothes dirty, and his face marked by life on the streets. Without hesitation, she leaned over him to assess the situation. The man was breathing hard and did not answer her questions. "Sir, can you hear me?" Angela tried to stay calm, but time was running out. She placed a hand on the man's forehead. It was burning hot. She knew immediately that the situation was critical. Angela began performing chest compressions, her heart pounding in her chest. She kept counting, praying for a miracle. After a few interminable minutes, the man finally took a deep breath and his eyes opened weakly. Angela felt relief wash over her like a warm wave. Meanwhile, the ambulance arrived and the paramedics took charge of the man. Angela watched as they loaded him into the ambulance, knowing that she had done everything she could to save his life. When she looked at her watch, panic gripped her chest. It was 11:15. She had to be in court. With no time to waste, Angela rushed to the courtroom, her heart pounding. When she finally arrived, the hearing had already started. She walked in, hoping she wasn't too late. There was solemn silence in the courtroom. The judge looked at her with a slight disapproval for the delay, but Angela sat down without saying anything. Roberto was already there, sitting next to his new companion, Laura, an elegant and self-confident woman. Roberto's face was cold, distant, and his gaze betrayed repressed anger. Angela felt a wave of sadness and anger mixed with impotence. How had she gotten to this point? Roberto's lawyer stood up to begin the division of assets discussion, but for Angela it all came down to one thing, her son Daniel. "I ask that Daniel be granted to me," Angela said, trying to keep her emotions in check. Her lawyer, visibly tense, supported her, but Roberto's lawyer's response was immediate and sharp. Roberto Torres is a successful man, with a stable home and the resources to raise his child in a safe and secure environment. Angela, on the other hand, while a good mother, cannot offer the same level of financial stability, she stated coldly. The judge listened in silence, his face impassive. Angela felt as if she were drowning. Her heart broke at the thought of losing Daniel. But when the judge pronounced his sentence, the words fell on her like a boulder. The child will live with his father. Angela stood there, unable to react. Her world seemed to be collapsing around her. Roberto and Laura exchanged a look of victory, while Angela felt as if she had been torn away from her own son. She walked out of the classroom in a state of shock. The city streets were chaotic, but everything felt muffled. Every step was a burden, and every breath a struggle. She walked aimlessly, trying to find a reason to keep going. At that moment, Angela's phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello?" she answered in a broken voice. On the other end, a warm, familiar voice surprised her. "Good evening, Angela. My name is Filippo, and I am the son of the man you saved this morning. I wanted to thank you in person. You were incredible." Angela, surprised, accepted Filippo's invitation to have a coffee. He was a distinguished man, with a reassuring voice and a smile that radiated warmth. Their conversation was easy and natural, and for the first time in a long time, Angela felt appreciated and seen. Over the next few days, Angela and Filippo continued to see each other. He was kind, thoughtful, and seemed to understand the pain she was carrying in her heart. Each meeting with Filippo was a breath of fresh air, a break from the pain that had engulfed her. Then one day, Filippo told her something she never expected. "Angela, I want to help you. I spoke to a lawyer. I think there is a chance we can revisit Daniel's custody case." Angela looked at him with wide eyes. "Really?" she whispered, feeling hope grow inside her like a flower in spring. Philip nodded with determination. "Yes, really. It's not fair that you were deprived of your son. We will fight for this. I will help you as you helped my father." With Filippo by her side, Angela felt that maybe, for the first time in a long time, there was a way out of the pain. Maybe, after all, she hadn't lost everything yet. With a new hope in her heart, she was ready to fight for Daniel, for herself, and for a new life, different from the one she had known, but perhaps brighter than she had ever imagined. Did you like this story? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and see you next story.